Everyone, welcome to my class. In this video I'll be continuing with the second chapter of class 9th history, that is socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. Children, till so far in my previous video I have discussed about how the socialism emerged as an important ideology in Europe, who were the early socialists who promoted this idea, and how it spread to the entire Europe. Now in this video I'll be continuing with the same chapter, and we'll talk about more of Russian Empire, Russian society and economy, just to understand a background that was prepared for a new ideology of socialism to emerge in Russia. Right. So let's start the topic. The Russian Empire in 1914. When we talk about the Russian Revolution, we basically mean that the revolutions, two important revolutions that took place in the year 1917. And in Russia, in this, the importance of these revolutions is that they ended a monarchy there in Russia and established a new form of government there. Right. So these developments which took place in the year 1917 is considered as the Russian Revolution. But before understanding the Russian Revolution, it's very essential to know under what conditions the revolutions took place. So we'll be focusing on the year 1917, but before that we'll try to understand the Russian Empire. So, Russian Empire in 1914. Russia was ruled by Tsar Nicholas II when the First World War started. Right? And when the revolution took place, he was the ruler of Russian Empire. Russian Empire at that time included Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, parts of Poland, Ukraine and Belarus. And there are certain Central Asian nations which were under the Russian control. Right, and the communities living in Russian Empire followed different religion like Christianity, Catholics. There were Protestants, Muslims, Buddhists. So it was a huge empire where people of diverse culture, following different religion, languages, they lived together. Now talking about the economy and society of Russia, 85% of the population of Russia were engaged in agriculture. Russia was a major exporter of grain at that time, and industrially, if we talk about Russia at that time, it, as compared to other European nations, it was quite poor. Very few industries were there in some of the important cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg. So the industrial growth was in Russia was seen in very few centers, very few cities. It was restricted in a few regions. In 1890, factory setup started when expansion of railways took place, and there was an increase in the foreign investment. Slowly, steadily, when the other seeing other European nation which were comparatively quite advanced in industry wise, Russia also some changes came in Russia also when expansion of railways started in Russia, since it's a very vast nation. So when such activities started, it attracted the foreign investments, and thus leading to the starting up of factory system. As a result, coal and iron and steel production increased tremendously in Russia. Most of the industries were privately owned. The important feature of these industries, which initially started in Russia, was that these industries or these factories were privately owned. The private owners means the individuals were the private owners, and the government only supervised large factories to ensure minimum wages and limited hours of work. And the government took at least initiative to expand the industrial sector. Right. Now talking about the workers. They were divided into social groups. Um some workers had strong link with the villages from which they came, and others settled in the cities or the towns where they are working. And there was a division among the workers. This division was on the basis of the skills required in their field. For example, a metal worker of St. Petersburg considered themselves the aristocrat among other workers, as their occupation demanded more training and skills. So, on the basis of skills, there was a hierarchical order among the workers. Then, women made up 31% of the factory labor, and they were comparatively paid less than men. Now, workers sometimes were united and participated in strikes. This also happened in Russia. There is another important group in the Russian society, that was of peasants. Now, if we talk about the peasants, then we'll find that the nobility, crown, church, these were the sections which owned maximum land in the or maximum properties in Russia. And peasants who cultivated their land, who cultivated most of the lands belonging to these classes, they were not the actual owners of the lands. They were working on the lands of these people. And the peasantry class were deeply religious also. They followed their religions with proper rules and regulation. They hated nobility for owning lands because they believed that they are the actual tillers of the soil, so the land must belong to them. So Russian peasants sometimes pooled their lands together, and their commune, who is also called Mir, divided the land according to the needs of the people, uh, according to the needs of the peasants' family. Now, this is important feature of the Russian peasantry because it is nowhere seen in rest of the European nations. This makes this makes the Russian peasantry different from the other European peasantry. Reason being, it is only seen in Russia that many times the peasants themselves, they pooled their lands together to do the farming, and when the production is ready, then the grains were divided among these peasants by their mir, seeing that the family size and the consumption level of each peasants. This is an important feature of Russian peasantry class. Now, talking about the socialism in Russia, now this was the economy and the society of Russia, where the economy was not that sound, since it was totally dependent on agriculture. Industries were very few. Then the society, there was a division among each class, means the peasants were divided, the workers were divided, and there were other divisions like the nobility class, the church, and the rulers. So this was a kind of society when the revolution took place. Now, talking about socialism in Russia, before First World War, that is 1914, when the war started, all political parties were illegal in Russia, since the ruler was ruling, and it was the rule in Russia that any political party which is formed, it should be considered as illegal because the ruler is there to rule. So, in 1898, the Russian Social Democratic Workers' Party formed. Now, this is an important thing because this party, though it was an illegal organization, it set up a newspaper, mobilized workers and organization. Sometimes it organized strikes also. Why this party is important? Because later on this party got divided into two groups, Bolsheviks and Mensheviks, and these were in the coming years will become more strong, and reasons for the revolutions it took place in 1917, and when the monarchy collapsed in Russia, these groups led the nation. So that is why this party is important. Its status, when it was formed, its status was illegal according to the Russian rule. Now the Socialist Revolutionary Party formed in 1900, and this party especially struggled for the peasantry rights. Now, this party, the Socialist Revolutionary Party, they were in favor of peasants because they believed that the nobility class, which is owning maximum land, their land should be given to the peasantry class because they are the actual tiller of the soil. They actually do the agriculture, so their land needs to be transferred to the peasantry class. Then Social Democrats disagree with the Socialist Revolutionary Party about the peasantry favor. This Social Democrat groups under Lenin, he felt that the peasants were not one group. There was division among the peasantry. So as compared to the workers, the because these peasantry sometimes worked as laborers while others were capitalists, so there was no common unity that can be seen among the peasantry. So instead of peasantry, the real they cannot be part of the socialist movement. Instead of peasantry, the workers needs to be united, and they need to be mobilized to prepare a base for the revolution instead of peasantry. So this was the idea of Lenin. And this party, these because of the differences among these two leading groups, the party of Russian Social Democratic Workers Party, this party got divided among two groups, Bolsheviks and Mensheviks. Now, to understand the working of Bolshevik and Menshevik, there was an ideological difference between the two groups. When we talk about the Bolshevik, the prominent leader was Vladimir Lenin, and Menshevik, the prominent leader was Alexander Kerensky. Now these names are quite difficult, but you need to remember because we'll be taking these names, we'll be discussing them in detail. So by the time the chapter gets over, you'll be habitual of using these names, especially Lenin. So when we talk about the Bolsheviks, this party was led by Vladimir Lenin, and Bolsheviks were the majority group of workers who believed in revolutionary methods to bring changes in the society. This is important. Means he believed, his ideology was to if they need to bring this change in the society, then the only way is to do revolution. So they believed in revolutionary methods. They were not satisfied with the Tsar's rule. So if they want to end the Tsar's rule, they need to do it through a revolution. They took repressive measures to bring discipline and improve quality and quantities of its members. And not only this, but they believed that a party should be disciplined, and discipline can only be established when the quality and quantity of its party members is ensured, right? On other hand, when Mensheviks under Alexander Kerensky, this was a minority group of workers, and they believed in the parliamentary methods. Means if they want to bring a change in the society, they should take part in the politics, and they should be a part of parliament, and then the working or keep their demands in front of the ruler, means work in a legalized manner. They were quite liberal in their attitude and wanted a party should be open to all. There was no restriction. Anybody who wants to join the party can easily join the party. So this was the difference between the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks. Both these groups became important later on. How they ruled the Russian Empire. We'll be discussing this in the next video. Thank you for watching this video, and do watch the upcoming video.